Hello and welcome to TheHereticSpot plays Tyranny. The game just was released yesterday, and well, as you can see, I bought it myself because I was kind of intrigued of the idea to play with an evil person in an RPG adventure. There's of course another game where you play an evil person, that would be Overlord, written by Terry Pratchett's daughter. The story was written by Terry Pratchett's daughter, which was quite amazing. But let's start a new game. I tried to stream some of the game yesterday evening on Twitch, and well, at least I got that people were quite happy, or they liked it that I read everything to them, like the context of something is happening around the station, and my decisions I had. I will try this in this playthrough as well. So we will start the game on normal difficulty. Epic loading time. And the music is amazing. And I have to apologize again for my breathing. If you can hear anything like my heavy breathing through nose or mouth, it's absolutely not intended, and I try to not do it. Or at least conceal it somehow, but I have no idea how to do it best. Well, that's a fairly long loading time. Thought it was going faster, yes.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and Archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tunon brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Well, that was quite dramatic and awesome. And here we go with the character creation. In this character creation, of course, you can choose the gender between male and female. You have 3 body types. The one is normal size, muscular. And the second one is big, but still muscular. And the third one is fairly large and thin. At least that's for the male version. Let's go to the male versions. Here we have the, so to say, Tyranny average muscular person. And the bit taller, bigger, muscular person. And the sleek, slim, tall guy. This would be a perfect mage. Oh, that's how I envision a mage. Tall, thin, with more clothing, and a pointy head. But for my game, I will take the first body type. I'm more the warrior kind of player. Give myself a little bit darker skin. And let's go to the next step. Next step is appearance. For facial hair, color, voice, and tattoos. As well as the portrait. I did choose this one, I guess, last time. But nothing really fits. Let's take this one. Because I will play a warrior type with sword and shield. For the face. Oh, look at that droopy looking guy. Nah. So our initial face, and this is one I like the most. He looks fairly bored with everything. Like, oh, right, yes, another task. I am so joyful. Yes. And let's see what kind of hairstyles we have. Of course, bold. Something more normal. Irokese. That is more like the long-haired He-Man version. Hello, Lord Dracula. Ponytail. Well, I will decide my hairstyle with the beard style I have. So let's see. Oh, look at that goatee. The right thing for an evil person. Heroic beard. A Hogan beard. Oh my god. An Irish person. I had this one as my favorite. And let's see what hairstyle goes good with that one. I'm not fond of ponytails. No. That doesn't fit, I would say. God, that looks horrible. Well, I guess we're going with the standard hairstyle. Or let's be bold, but if it's bold, I would only like to have the shin part of it, but let's go with the standard hairstyle. I think that fits quite well. And let's make it red. Let's see what kind of voice he has.
That wasn't so hard. Quiet down. I'm injured, tired. That's curious. Heads up, we have company. Good work.
That voice reminds me a little bit of the voice actor Matthew Mercer, who has a role-playing channel as well.
You learn something every day.
But that's probably someone else, not Matthew Mercer.
Ah, got it. Moving cautiously. Right. Found something. Heads up, we have company.
Okay, that voice doesn't seem to be fitting, but I'll take it, because it's deep and grumpy. And awesome tattoos. What else do we have? Oh my god. Yeah, that's a $7 billion man with bionic legs. Wonderful. That doesn't look too bad. Oh, look, Ganondorf. That one on both ends would be nice, but it seems that it's only on one. That is not bad at all. Let's go for this one here. Okay, let's see what comes next. Oh, the history. How did we join Kyr's army? Well, I said I am more the melee fighting type. But let's see, what do we get? What is it? That seems to be like, oh really, more the history, where the character comes from. Has probably some meaning in the game. So let's see, what does the fighter pit say? Not wishing to pay to feed and house too, the madam that purchased your mother sold you to the proving grounds. The Northern Empire's bloodiest, most notorious fighting arena. Given only enough training to assure the show isn't over too soon, your natural prowess and survival instinct led you to one victory after another. There was no elegant swordplay, no formalized duels, just brutal melee and the stench of blood, shit, and bronze with each day's gruesome necessities. It is said that any fighter that slays a dozen other in the grand melee is given her freedom, but in 300 years only 3 warriors have ever walked away from the proving grounds. When the closing horns sounded and 13 corpses lay about your feet, you became the fourth to be granted freedom to thunderous applause. But this autonomy was short-lived. Within days, word of your accomplishments made its way to the Archon of Justice. Well, it sounds rather brutal. Let's see, what does the warrior say? Unable to settle the year's accounts with grain, your parents offered you as a tithe to the overlord instead. Seeing your first battles as a child, you've known all your life how to fight, how to stay calm in the sight of blood and disembowelment, and how to rely on your fellow warriors. Deemed smarter than the average killer, you were groomed for command and given an education on letters and numbers. With rumors of war, it seemed recruitment into the disfavored legion would be the obvious match for your skills. But the Archon of Justice is known to say that good iron is not used for swords, and good minds are not used for soldiers. Claimed by Tunon, you were instead drafted into the court of Fatebinders, where your martial skills were put to use in the enforcement of Kiros laws. Sounds interesting. Hunter. When the leader of your home village spoke out of turn one time too many, agents of the Overlord put the whole town to the torch to contain the spread of insubordination. The bounding Viper tribe came across the smoking ruins of your village, and when the beast's matriarch found you frozen but unafraid, the mighty leader took you in and raised you with the protection of her tribe. For years you lived with these wild beastmen in their migratory homes throughout the mountains, but the bounding vipers were a dying breed. Each long winter took a greater toll than the last, and once the dwindling tribe was too weak to defend its lands, disfavored soldiers came to dispense of the ravenous scavengers your tribe had become. Finding a human among the wild tribe, the disfavored soldiers made a point of taking you alive. News of the wild child of the north eventually spread through the Archon of Justice, and he ordered you released from captivity and delivered unto his court. Lawbreaker. Accused of crime you most certainly did commit, you stood before Tunon, the educator, Archon of Justice, and argued your case with eloquence and conviction. Impressed by your logic, reason, and confidence, he found you guilty anyway. What an a-hole. It is rumored that Tunon selects many of his agents from his prisoners. Who better to catch the wicked than those versed in such ways? In his mercy, Tunon offered you the choice of two sentences: decades of languishing in prison, or a lifetime of serving in the court of Fatebinders. The choice was an easy one, and you, instead of seeing the inside of a cell, you were trained in letters and numbers, magic and war. The laws you once broke are now yours to interpret and enforce. Guild Apprentice. Deeply proud of your intelligence, your parents always knew you were too smart for a life spent with your hands in the soil, looking to secure a better future. Your parents struck a bargain with the 7-3 Guild, a small magical order willing to teach you letters, numbers, and magic, if you prove capable. I'm sorry, I gotta have to drink a little bit because my throat is getting raw. True, I could have just put in my mute, but I didn't. Anyway, let's continue. For several years, you learned much from the mages, mastering reading and writing faster than the rest, and eventually learned the basic of mystic theory and spellcraft. Your magical studies came to an abrupt halt when the voice of Nerat, Archon of Secrets, deemed the guild a peacetime distraction. Oh, that must be disbanded for the upcoming war. Its majors assigned to proper armies, while your peers went on to other guilds. Your mind was seen as too valuable to be wasted on the armies. Instead, your life was claimed by Tunon, Archon of Justice. So, it doesn't matter what kind of job we had, it's always Tunon who leads the Fatebinders. But I guess that's a good thing. War Mage. Few have the combination of wits and courage to be accomplished casters and warriors, and those cursed with such a combination of talents are invariably pulled from their mundane lives and assigned to the armies of the Archons. Your earliest memories are a painful slog of training, study, lecture, and exhaustion. All the elements of being groomed for battle, you knew better than to ask what became of your family, nor to question the missives allegedly penned by the hand that were part of your earliest lessons in reading. When you reached adulthood, Tunon the Educator, yeah, that is awesome, Tunon the Educator. Tunon the Adjudicator came to the barracks and laid claim to your life, seeing you as too valuable for the crucible of battle. The Archon of Justice deemed your life better spent dedicated to the art of punitive legal remedies. Though you had much to learn in matters of civil discourse, none could deny your bright future as Tunon's next great enforcer. Noble Scion. Born to noble parents, you were groomed for leadership. Your youth spent on letters, history, rhetoric, and other matters of culture and statecraft. Though you had wealth and creature comforts, okay, you were expected to grow up quickly and bear the honor of shepherding others through prosperity and war. When your parents came under accusation of sedition, you were sent to the court of Tunon, Archon of Justice. That Tunon, Archon of Justice, that word is, I read it so many times that it became something. It became weird of some sort. But let's continue. You were sent to court of Tunon, Archon of Justice, to defend your family's actions. The parents were found guilty. The sentence: the dissolution of their treasonous estate. Eloquently pleading your own ignorance on your family's actions, you negotiated your most important deal yet: immunity from the crimes of your family, and the simple cost of swearing fealty to the Archon himself. Despite the unwilling induction, your education and savvy made you a valuable addition to the Archon's cadre of enforcers. And so long as you remain in a good standing, your family just might be allowed to live. And the last one, Diplomat. Though they would never tell you why, Kyros bestowed great wealth upon your family for some unmentioned service, and your parents used this wealth to have you raised far from home. Your childhood was a nomadic tour of Terratus with hired tutors and fleeting friendships. Where others had stability and routine, you had a worldly and varied education. A careless word in a far-flung city landed you in legal trouble, and you were taken before Tunon the Adjudicator and made to stand trial. Not only did you plead your innocence, but you turned the accusations around on the accuser for wasting the court's time. and the Archon of Justice concurred, amused by your wit, wisdom, and adaptability. Tunon claimed you as his newest enforcer. Well, those are all pretty awesome stories, actually. Let's have another sip of water. Ah, yeah, what do we take? I don't want to take the diplomat. Soldier is not bad, but I think the Guild Apprentice was kind of nice as story. Let's take the Guild Apprentice. Next. So, primary expertise. What are we? As one of Tunon's Fatebinders, you receive training in the arts of war, the intrigue of magic, and the inexhaustible depths of Kyros lore. Across the Northern Empire, the education of a Fatebinder is second to none. Those bearing the title are expected to read instructions and understand the economy of the realm in which they operate. Literacy and mathematics are rarely found in Terratus, are essential skills in the execution of law. Subtler talents like speechcraft or tactics are honed with time and experience under Tunon's guidance. Well, my first primary expertise will be sword and shield. That is something that is the thing I feel most comfortable with. To be a warrior, hard working with sword and shield in the lines of battle. And look at that. That looks awesome. And we can choose between two abilities actually. Thunder or Shield Slam. Let's see. It does damage, has a 20 seconds cooldown. And the enemy is for 20 seconds sundered. Delivers a powerful overhead attack that reduces the target's armor. The lesser armor, the more chance to get a hit through. The other one is Shield Slam. 30 seconds cooldown time, so 10 seconds more. Does a bit more damage. And dazes the target, if it's successful. Well, since we have a shield, why not use it? So I will take Shield Slam. So wielding a sword and shield puts you in the front line of combat, standing between enemies and your allies. Holding a shield will slow down your attack rate slightly. Oh my god. Holding a shield will slow down your attack rate slightly, but give you a good defensive bonus. There we get a +6 bonus on one-handed weapon, +5 on parry, and +4 to athletics. Let's see, what's next? Secondary expertise. Okay, believing that all of his agents should be well-rounded, Tunon ordered that you receive training in a secondary combat style. Fatebinders are often deployed into treacherous circumstances, and one's ability to adapt to and unexpected changes, like sudden violence or a legal entanglement, can represent the difference between life and death. So, ooh, spear and shield. We didn't have spear and shield in the first place. Spear and shield would be even better. I love spear and shield. That's awesome. But we already have a shield ability, so that's not it. Let's see, did we? A good apprentice, that's true. Two traveling greatsword, armed short bow. No, nope. Next. But let's see, what do we have? Spear and shield, war mace, short bow, shock spells, vigor spells, and trophy spells, thrust spells, unarmed attacks, dual wielding, and javelin. Well, since we have a physical combat style, I would probably go for something magical in the secondary expertise. Let's see, I am thinking of getting maybe atrophy. What is atrophy? What does it do? Atrophy magic drains the skills and attributes of your enemies, weakening their attacks and making them easier to kill, which is always good. Vigor. What does Vigor gives me more? It's almost the same. The School of Vigor is a utility branch of magic that focuses on granting bonuses to yourself and your allies. That isn't bad either. Well, I can imagine what frost spells are, and shock spells as well. Let's see. Vigor, what does it have? It has the ability Titan's Touch. Gives us more vitality and might for a short amount of time. A trophy is taking might and vitality away for a certain amount of time from the enemies. Range 2 meters, cooldown 24 seconds, and what do we have here? It's 24 seconds and as well 2 meters. So, I guess this will be a trophy. Just sucking the life force out of everyone. Next. That will probably be the banner. Yes, it is. So, let's see. What kinds of symbols do we have here? Ooh. Okay, those don't look too bad. Well, let's make the banner sign black and that one red. That is more the coloring of my choosing. And then we should as well see that maybe some red goes into our armor. Yes. So, the next one. That is one of the hardest parts. The name. What is the name of this evil fella? We don't have a name generator here, so we have to come up with stuff. So, let's say this guy who was educated in a guild. Parents are fairly wise to do so. Let's say Mandrake. Mandrake is a good name. And my abilities. Well, those points are suggestions because for warrior I have here some type which is probably needed, and for the trophy it's this part. But there's always a but. I like to put points somewhere equally to stuff. I have 3 more. Let's see. Mhm. The last one. Let's go with. Oh my god, I don't know. What does wits do? The wits attribute describes a character's mental acuity, their ability to observe their environment and pick up on clues. Wits is used to increase spell strength as well as the increase of magic defense. Resolve. Resolve determines a character's ability to endure physical and mental challenges. Resolve is a primary attribute used to derive the endurance, will, and magic defense. It also increases the duration of affliction applied by characters. Well, let's go with Resolve then. I could probably put contribute those points in a better way, but well, that's just be how I like it. So, skills. Let's see. Ooh, lots of skills. Let's get at least all the skills we have with a dot on 30, so we have on even ground. Law gets to 35, at least it's 4. I guess I'm happy with that. And Conquest. So the basic gist is that we can decide to do a quick start, so the game will decide what route we took in the war, or we do the conquest. That means we will have stations like certain cities or places, and we have to decide what we did there. That will make our history and how the NPC characters see us in the world. What did we do? Did they respect what we do, or did they hate us because we killed some friends of theirs because it was more efficient for our goal? And of course, you're right. I will do the conquest. The conquest means a lot more to read, actually. I did that once on Twitch yesterday, but I'm happy to do it again. Yes, and sorry for the drinking sound. I am far too lazy to mute my microphone. So let's see what Mandrake did in his conquest.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
The map does look beautiful. Conquest. During the conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos invasions of the tiers, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the tiers respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. Thanks for the warning. 428 TR. I just love the look of it. The whole artwork is amazing. The Bastard City. The Bastard City stood in the northern borders between Kyros Empire and the Tiers. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tiers, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was a little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target of Kyros. Military conquest of Kyros. Natural first target in Kyros military conquest. One word. So, I'm sorry. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in the Kyros armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the tiers. Kyros will is insurmountable. So we have two actions. Infiltrate the tiers or Gates of Judgment. Let's see what are the Gates of Judgment. The armies of Kyros took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the tiers. The two armies brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. There's no music in the background. Oh, it's a very low volume as well, but never mind. Where were we? You went to battle alongside the armies whose approach best suited your strength. That we did indeed. Let's increase the volume of the music in the background a little bit. So we have the option of join the battle alongside the disfavored or join the battle alongside the Scarlet Chorus. When we choose the disfavored, standing shield to shield with Kyros' ironclad elite, you advance on the mercenary army purchased by the nobles of the Bastard City. The Legion wanted to send a message to the tiers that superior breeding and disciplined training would win the day. Of course. And there's the Scarlet Chorus. You rushed with the chaotic mass of the Scarlet Chorus, flanked the Bastard City's army, and drove them to flee. That's well an action. So let's see, infiltrate the tiers. History would remember the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with the advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus each had a plan to infiltrate the capital city. Which army did you join? Before I join any army, I have to drink some water. You lent your skills to the elite disfavored scouts to capture a border garrison, Graven Ash, insisted that an early victory in the offensive would boost the morale of his troops and diminish the haughty overconfidence of the Southerners. If you choose the Scarlet Chorus, you join the Scarlet Chorus as they raided villages and small towns, conscripting every able-bodied man and woman into the army. The voices of Nerat emphasized the reward of conscription and enslavement of wanton bloodshed. Apparently, his soldiers needed the reminder. So both actions are pretty damn awesome. Either we just storm the city and win the battle, or we infiltrate. On this choice, I will choose the infiltrate with the disfavored. Just a moment. So, infiltrate the tiers. The Oath-bound scouts identified a modest border defense and collaborated on an organized attack that would leave the enemy uncoordinated and cut off from aid. You oversaw the preparations and offered your opinion on the strategy. When the clashing of swords and spears fell to silence, followed by the cheering of disfavored scouts, you were the least surprised. Well, of course, I'm awesome. What else? Okay, something else came up. Containing the fire or inside agent. Let's start with the inside agent. With the border garrison captured by your disfavored allies, you traveled ahead to Kyros' armies and lurked in the shadows of the bastard city. You decided that converting one of the local to Kyros' side would help bring the city to its knees. After all, corruption starts from within. That is so true. So let's see, the disfavored option. You enlisted a bitter captain of the guard to sell military secrets to the disfavored. Better that Kyros forces march to their next inevitable victory, well informed. The Scarlet Chorus option. You came to an arrangement with all well-connected smugglers who knew how to sneak agents off the Scarlet Chorus behind the city walls. The Scarlet Chorus were better operatives than soldiers, and this work required a subtle touch. It's getting cold, my room. Containing the fire. Your fiercest opponent in the bastard city were the mages of the School of Wild Wrath. Too barbaric to use their power responsibly, the unbridled practitioners needed to be stopped. How did you trick the hot-tempered mages into their own undoing? The disfavored option. Lure them to a disfavored ambush. You lured the hot-headed mages to an ambush where the legion of disfavored waiting to spring the trap. The soldiers are hungry for a chance to subdue the arcane branch of Tyr's resistance. I'm sorry for the breaking up. Scarlet Chorus. You tricked the guild elders into meeting with the voices of Nerat, Archon of Secrets. The Archon was notorious for his cruel and mysterious interrogation techniques. The mages were never seen again. Let's take Inside Agent and even take the option with the Scarlet Chorus with a subtle touch. After accepting his deserved payment, the smuggler uncovered a long-forgotten tunnel that intersected with the sewers of the bastard city. Armed with maps of the subterranean layout, the Scarlet Chorus allies fanned out to occupy various city districts under cover. They spent the ensuing weeks murdering key officials and sabotaging defenses wherever possible, weakening the Tyr's capital under the very nose of its leaders. That was very good. The tactic of infiltration placed you in the bastard city ahead of the main armies. Your work softened the city defense for the arrival of Kyros' forces, but you wanted a decisive gesture that would give your allies a meaningful advantage. How did you assist in the fall of the bastard city? Again, I have to take a sip of my water and will go to the heater and just see that my room will be warm in a couple of minutes. That, of course, is a very good thing to do while I'm recording. Well, never mind. I will just do this like this. Whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. So we have the option of course, the disfavored, the Scarlet Chorus, and something else I don't know from the symbol. But let's see what is the disfavored option. Duel the city marshal. You challenge the commander of the Bastard City's defense to an honorable fight in the death, to the death, in the death. Ha 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 ha. The disfavored wished to spare soldiers' lives for the battle ahead and civilian lives for occupation, which gives me as well an ability, Warrior's Respite. Scarlet Chorus option, spreading the word of Kyros. You converted the poor and disaffected into a hidden army of the Scarlet Chorus. Once the dust settled, the army whispered that the army wished to bolster their troops with these sleeper cells. And the third option, spread fear through assassination. Keeping to the shadows, you eliminated the leaders of the Bastard City one by one, which gives me the ability of concealing shadows, but I'm not a rogue. This one gives me Searing Palm. Oh, it sounds kinda nice. But I think I'll go for the honorable battle with the City Marshal. The City Marshal was an old but experienced fighter, and his value to the guard was an accepted truth. After making guarantees for your protection, you met him in the square of the market district and fought in the view of tense onlookers. The battle drew on longer than you thought possible. Good fortune struck when an ornamental chain hanging from the marshal's armor smacked the quillion of his sword, granting you the opportunity to end his life swiftly. Kyros' forces celebrated your return to the camp and the dissolution of enemy morale. All agreed that the Bastard City was poised to crumble.